You live here?
Yes.
Well, maybe you know what a zombie is.
When a person dies and is buried, it seems there's certain voodoo priests who have the power to bring him back to life.
How horrible.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring.
You mean like Democrats?
Dietrich Bonhoeffer stated that stupidity, you heard me, stupidity is more than a moral and social failure of society and stuff. It's not some intellectual one either, you know. Why? Why did people fall into such stupidity and follow after such insanity of the Nazis? Why did they follow Stalin? Why do they follow Che Guevara? Why do they follow Fidel Castro? Why do they follow Pol Pot? Why do they follow these totalitarians? You know, the answer, the stupidity of the stupid is held together by a simulacra. In fact, Dietrich Bonhoeffer discovered that I'm not kidding you, stupidity silently spreads and changes objective reality and truth into a simulacrum. It makes people blind to the truth. It really does. It makes people immune to all logic. You ever seen that? And reason. And willing to fall for false reality amidst a real and tangible world. And we saw this here with the Democrats. We saw it with the Democrats in President Trump's speech, a State of the Union address in 2025. They were just sitting there. They wouldn't clap. They made themselves look like total idiots. That is somebody who is basically stupid people, zombies. No other way to say it. And so here we have a perfect example of it in Proverbs 23, verse 9. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, the stupid, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. And the word fool in the Old Testament also refers to stupid people. No matter what you say or what logic you use, these people are not going to hear a thing you say. They're totally tuned out. You can't reach them. That's why Dietrich Bonhoeffer stated that the reality is that that there are stupid people, and stupid people caused World War II, caused Stalinism, caused the multiplied death of millions. Stupidity is unlike evil. That's what Dietrich Bonhoeffer was writing about. With evil, you can confront it, you can expose it, you can deal with it. However, stupidity cannot be reasoned with, nor can you expose it, nor can you directly fight against stupidity. You really can't, because they don't listen. They're stupid. Bonhoeffer witnessed how stupidity entered into the minds of a highly westernized, civilized, and intellectual nation on the cutting edge of intellectual ascension. That in turn created immense destruction during World War II of mind-numbed robots marching down the street and causing mayhem. World War II happened. Multiplied millions of people died in that. Bonhoeffer witnessed that stupidity, and he searched for reasons why a civilized people can be taken captive by the evil men and never question them nor their practices. And he began to note that the effects of brainwashing had on people, and he discovered that much of the population becomes stupid by unquestionably believing the lies and false visions of utopia, or grandeur, or prestige, or significance to belong to some sort of group, some sort of cause, some sort of cult. And you become stupid. You can't, there's no amount of logic. There was a young lady, and I cannot remember the book it was. She came out of Nazi Germany. She wrote this book, and to her neighbor, which died in the Holocaust, which was a Jewish girl, and she eventually took about 10 years before her to become denazified because she believed in stupidity so bad that she wrote the book as a catharsis for what she did during the war and stuff. And it's an amazing read. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's out there. Well, folks, that's what stupidity does. The majority loses their ability to reason. The most of the population loses their ability to reason. They lose the ability of thinking, exercising wisdom, as Proverbs chapter 15, verse 7 says. And I'm going to insert the word stupid in here for fool. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the stupid does not do so. Okay. You can be so wise, you can just give all your reasons, you can have a logical argument, but these stupid people, the heart of the stupid does not do so. They really don't. They don't want nothing to do with it. It's la la la. It's all this rights. You have this rights. It's that right. It's a woman's right to abortion. We don't reason with you. If you disagree with us, we'll burn your house down. If you don't agree with us, we'll protest. If you don't agree with us, we'll destroy you. You can't reason with these people. They're nuts. We just went through 4 years of this. You in Europe are still going through it. You're governed by stupid people and governed by stupidity. And it always doesn't have a very good end. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. Stupidity. Okay? That's right. Where you lose your reason and everything. You can, but the heart of the stupid does not take anything you say, nor will they hear, even though as all the Democrats up there sat. Oh, so up there applauding and all the people were cheering about a young boy who had brain cancer, and he survived it. He was 6 or 7 years into survival, and the Secret Service gave an honorary badge in the Secret Service. Police officers and stuff around the country honored him, and people are about ready to cry, and here they are, and the Democrats just sitting there. Propaganda. Mention about prolonging the Ukrainian war, the war in Ukraine. They started plotting. Very inappropriately, they revealed how stupid they are and what stupidity does to a group of people that I ever seen on that night. Okay, I'm just telling you, stupid people are easily controlled. That's one thing, because totalitarians know that stupid people are easily controlled, and so that the totalitarian systems will disperse pseudo-reality, a simulacrum, so that they become useful idiots to silence all reason, all truth that would otherwise expose their evil. Evil people make others stupid, as they are easy to manipulate for their own purposes. In fact, in Psalms, right here in Psalms 14, verse 1 through 4, describes how stupidity works. And let me bring that up on the screen here. The fool, the stupid, has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men and see if there are any who understand, who seek God. They have all turned aside, and basically they're all stupid, and they have together become stupidly corrupt. I'm just paraphrasing. And there is none who does good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity have no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and they do not call on the name of the Lord? Yep, stupidity is stupidity, isn't it? That's all I got to say. That's how stupidity works, folks. You try to reason with people, and what happens? Corruptness comes in. You know what happens? That's what I'm saying. The stupid, they corrupt. The stupid make sure no one does good. They always pit goodness against their own. They use critical theory, if you will, to pit. Okay, how can I say this to make sense to people? Okay. Um, you know, there's only two genders. Oh no, there can't be two genders. We have a simulacrum. We have a pseudo reality here. If you feel like a female and you're a male, you can go in there and you shake your thing with the women in the showers, in the locker rooms. Woohoo! And the women can't complain if they're scared of you and you insult them by your beautiful physique and they want to run out of there screaming. They're prejudiced. You can lock them up because they're discriminating they are the oppressors. Forget about women's rights. The person who thinks they're the opposite gender in there can go and think that he's a little teeny girl and go into the little girl's locker room in school and shake his thing, and no one can complain about it because you're the oppressor. There's no women's rights. We have liberation and freedom for the profane. That's what these people here in Congress, that's what people in your government in the UK support. They don't give a rat's rear end about people who are surviving cancer. They don't give a rat's rear end about the cost of groceries. Don't give one iota to the common man who pays their salaries. To them, you and I are vermin because you are not stupid. They only want stupid people who can think stupidly, to do stupid things, to burn down the village. And then when the village is happily burned down, they go, let's build it back. But with what? We outlawed gasoline. We outlawed oil. Windmills don't cut it. And how do we get the food to the market? This electric car thing and train stuff is not working. Oh, why do we have mass starvation? Don't worry, we're just reducing the world's population to sustainable levels. We'll solve poverty and environmental problems by mass starvation. Hallelujah! Thank you, stupid people. Thank you. What's that lady's name, or that young gal's name is? She talks about polar bears and stuff. Now I can't remember her name. And I can't remember her name now. I'll probably come to me in a minute. But you got stupid people. Stupid people believe in climate nonsense. They really do. They really do. And so that's oh my gosh, it's just crazy how they do that. Therefore, just like Dietrich Bonhoeffer noted, that stupidity is indeed a greater threat than evil. Why? Because good leaders can rally people and decent people to fight and defeat evil. But stupidity makes the population so docile, and others become so hostile toward reality and truth. By this, evil then can take a country over without much of a fight. Had someone, I don't want to get people mad at me in the UK, but someone got an email and they admitted to this person. I thank them for writing it. They admitted to it. They said that we are docile. We didn't challenge anything. We let this happen. Well, you can fight back. You got to wake up. Or you do not want to live in a country they have envisioned for you, let me tell you. Okay, you don't want to live but with a bunch of stupid people doing an evil person's will, do you? So the country can be taken over without much of a fight through a bunch of globalists or Marxists, right? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, after 10 years in letters and papers from prison, stupidity is more dangerous enemy of good than malice. One may protest against evil. It can be exposed of, and if needed, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, in that it leaves behind human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. I agree with that. But we're not defenseless because reality, as Christians, we're not defenseless. We can fight against this stuff. Okay? That's what it is. The book of Proverbs helps explain why he said we are defenseless against stupidity. Let me bring up slide 4 here. Why is written here? Rebuke is more effective for a wise man than 100 blows on a stupid person. Proverbs 12:15, the eyes of the stupid person is right in his own eyes. That's why you can't argue. They're right, everybody else is wrong, okay? The stupid person's wrath is known at once. Yeah, you cross them, They're coming after you. They're going to sue you. They're looking for blood. Disagree with them, we'll stand in front of your house and yell at you. If you prevent us from having our way and not having U.S. aid support whacked out programs and channel money into our pockets, that's evil. We don't want Doge. We want Elon Musk. We got to stop them. And it's a mob mentality. Stupidity brings about stupid people to do stupid things, to become a mob, and they don't even know why they're doing it, like robots. That's why evil people like to use stupid people. That's why they want to dumb down society and make more stupid people than smart people. That's why they are disenfranchising our children from an education. They want stupid people to follow us stupid narratives so they could be their minions to crush any and all opposition, because they know better how to live our lives than we do. A fool has no delight in understanding. I say a stupid person has no delight in understanding, but in expressing his own heart. Oh yes, we're fighting for trans rights, and we'll burn down everything. We're fighting for the right of, if you think that you are Mickey Mouse, we'll defend that right to the death. And if anyone says you're not, we'll get the lawyers out there to sue them. We'll get a mob, a flash mob, and burn down their house with everybody in it. Doesn't matter their family. They are evil. They are the oppressors. We're fighting for liberation for you. We're looking out for the little guy. We're looking out for all those people coming into the country because you have too much consuming going on. You have to pay it back, so you got to invite all these strangers and of a different faith who want to take over everything in there, and you can't do anything about it because they're the most favored religion in the world, and you must gleefully give up all your property rights and give it over to these people because you owe it to them because you are the oppressor because you had it so good. And so they got stupid people believing this trash. And what are they? They are the stormtroopers. Unfortunately, a lot of poor social workers are caught up in this trash. And I thank God a lot of them are beginning to see the garbage. But unfortunately, there's just a bunch of dumb people out there, stupid people. And I'm telling you, it's just an amazing thing to witness. It's an amazing thing to see. We see this. They only express their own heart. The stupid person is right in their own eyes. You know, the woke thing. Okay, woke. If you ain't woke, we gotta have DEI, and we gotta have DEI hires. And if you, if you, you know, don't hire me, even though I have no qualifications to be an air traffic controller, you're discriminating me because I'm of a certain skin color. I'm a privileged class, so you have to hire me. All I have is a kindergarten education, and I don't even know how to read or write, but I have to be a traffic controller because I play video games, and I can play video games with airplanes. Oh, you're hired. We can't hire this other person of a certain skin color because they had all the college and all the training and went through everything. We can't hire you, but we'll hire the kid that failed kindergarten and played video games. He can take over traffic control, sure. And plus, he played flight simulators most of his life, so he knows how to fly an airplane. Oh, I watched videos on how to be a brain surgeon. I want to be a brain surgeon. Yeah, we'll hire you. Because we're all about woke, righting the wrongs of the oppressor. You got a good education, so you oppress those who don't have an education. You force this poor guy to drop out of kindergarten because, you didn't make him drop out of kindergarten. Come on, get a life, okay? How about Trump derangement syndrome? Mention Donald Trump. Fangs grow out of people's mouths. Their fingers grow long. Fingernails grow out, and they turn into werewolves. Okay. Wokeness that you must hate your country, must hate your national heritage, must hate who you are as a person, must loathe yourself because you have to forget it and become part of the collective. Because stupid people can make up a great collective. When everybody thinks stupidly, everybody can get along and united in stupidity, and they're easily controlled by the totalitarian evil who are manipulating this. Hmm. That's just a few examples. Let's look over here. These next proverbs here. A stupid person's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are a snare of the soul. A stupid person's lips entered into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Elon Musk. Musk. Oh no. Elon Musk is going doge on us. And he's requiring, we got to stop him. He is evil. Oh, you're a conservative. And you watch some of the TikTokers who talk about conservatives. If we dare say anything like that, we'd be thrown in prison. I mean, these people want us dead. They hate our guts. They view us as the epitome of evil. And I did a famous quote by a guy who wrote a book, and I can't remember it, but the quote goes, the idea of totalitarianism to implant into people is to place their opposition or their target group and paint them as vermin. Elon Musk is vermin. We have a Telsa dealership. I don't care too much about Telsas at all. You know, that's your business if you can afford it. But anyway, they have a right to sell them. People have a right to buy them. And so down in Loveland, Colorado, there's a store there. Some nut job painted swastikas on there one night, then trashed out a bunch of vehicles, and then the Molotov cocktail. I think that's the guy who threw a Molotov cocktail, almost killed people. Yeah! Elon Musk is evil. Conservatives are evil. Yeah, that's right. A stupid person's lips enter into contention. His mouth calls for blows. Wrath, wrath, wrath. You're vermin. We must stop you. We all must think like stupid people so we can all get along in this utopia. You know. Jeez, I just can't believe it. Let's just look at a few more of these proverbs here. Whoever spreads slander is stupid. Boy, these people sure spread slander about everybody, don't they? Who's the opposition? Hey, you're a right to life person. We got to slander your character. We went through four years of this, and the FBI with full armament knocks on your door, and all you did was pray with some people to prevent them from having abortion. The next thing you know, you're being thrown in the slammer. Oh, yeah. Whoever spreads slander is stupid. Proverbs 10:23. To do evil is like sport to the stupid. Man, they love doing evil because it gives them a sense of power, absolute power to control things in their otherwise. And also they're surrounded by other stupid people, and they feed off of each other, and they're in the group, in the club, and so they go in their little stupid clubs, you know, they're the liberal progressive clubs, and mouth off and bad mouth how bad conservatives are, how they are fascist, totalitarians, and want to destroy democracy. We live in a republic, but that doesn't matter. You can't explain that to a stupid person. To their idea, democracy is censorship, death of conservatives, Christianity, everything else. There's a quote by Antonio Gramsci that I wanted to put up here, and I forgot to, and I'll have to, and pretty much states something very similar. Basically, what Gramsci was saying in this quote, and I'm going to do it by memory, is that simply socialism seeks to destroy or replace Christianity and all religions, and thus socialism becomes a religion for stupid people. I'm adding stupid people to what his quote was, but I'm just saying. Let's just keep reading here. A stupid person rages and is self-confident. You ever seen that? These people with wild purple hair and so many metal spikes in their face and things hanging out of the ears. You know, you wonder if the metal leached into their brain or something. They drank too much mercury or something, and they're just crazy. You mentioned Donald Trump or Elon Musk, and they go ballistic. You say you're a Christian, and they'll get the cross and some nails and get the wood kindling going, and they want to crucify you. Stupid people criticize Christians. They really do. They hate Christians. They hate God. Okay? Stupid people would have no respect for you or anyone else. Okay? The mouth of a stupid person is a rod of pride. Sure thing. It sure is a rod of pride. And, like Bonhoeffer wrote, that evil must be confronted and exposed and fought against, and evil promotes resentment, leading to resistance, and thus it can be defeated. Evil just protects itself from its own destruction by hiding behind stupid people. So you have to get through the stupid people. That's what Bonhoeffer said. They finally did when they got rid of the evil people, but the stupid people had to be deprogrammed. They went 10, 20 years of Nazi deprogramming in Germany. I bet you didn't know that. Okay? Evil contains within itself the seed of its own destruction. That's what Bonhoeffer wrote. At its core, evil people know what they are doing, and the wisest evil person knows he needs stupid people to hide behind. An entire population of stupid people, the more the merrier, okay? And that way you get rid of the opposition. Stupidity absolutely refuses to see any other way other than their own or what the group collective parrots to them and following the narrative. You're bombarded with this garbage on the news all the time. Last 4 years in America exemplifies that. They all said the same thing, the same headlines, the same words. It's still the same. The same headlines, the same thing grabs your attention, right? Mm-hmm. An entire population of stupid people are better for totalitarians to control so they can stop the opposition from reacting. Stupidity absolutely refuses to see anything other than their own way, their own ideas, their own ideology, okay? You cannot argue with a stupid person because they are dismissing facts. They cannot debate, and they refuse to. They resort to name calling. They toss forth threats. They resort to mocking you. They pose more threats to anybody who opposes them. They utilize the art of the protest to an art form. In an instant, they'll have designer signs out there. Some of them are getting a little smarter. They just put things to make it look like it's conservatives making their signs. But, I digress, like it's more grassroots. But in the background are a lot of professionally made signs. And unfortunately, a lot of these protesters are in colleges. And for extra credit, you can earn it by going to these things, especially in the social science field. I know that because I witnessed it when I was in college in the early 1990s, because I'm an overage student, and to get extra credit, you could go to support the trans rally or this rally or that rally, and I never did. I was too busy working and doing other things and preaching than to go about doing that. Yeah, I had a jail ministry, prison ministry, and every week I had to get a sermon ready at Sunday or Sunday evening there. Hand wrote it, made copies. All the stuff kept me busy, plus do my schoolwork as well and get it all done, plus work and pay the bills and all that. Yeah. Okay, I'm just telling you, they know how to utilize protests because a lot of these people come from these organizations and they are paid to be there. That's why you got to go after the money, okay? Stupid people are utterly convinced of their own righteousness, their own rightness. Because of this, stupid people act out unconsciously. They're not even aware they are stupid and what they look like online or nothing. After they wake up after the stupidity and they go back and look online and they go, I acted like that. Wow. These people never realize this because they're always right and everyone else is wrong. They believe whatever the narrative says of their group or cause and cling to those views because they are the only right ones on the planet. The rest are the enemy. The stupid are blind to destruction. They're blind, totally ignorant of the decay and ruin they bring on a city through their policies. They're ignorant and totally stupid and hard-hearted and callous to the misery they cause and the theft they cause and any other ideology, all the destruction and ruin and death it will cause. No argument, no evidence standing in their face or reason will shake them away from their resolve. They instead double down on them. We're seeing this, aren't you? We saw them double down in this, man. I'm telling you, we saw them double down, just sitting there holding up little signs, paddleboard signs, while other people were clapping, rejoicing of people who were honored, like Lake and Riley and the family up there in, in the upstairs area up there, the lobby, what do we call it, the perches, whatever. And they don't care about Lake and Raleigh. What do they care about? Stupid things, stupid doctrines, lies, pay more taxes. He got his cane out there. Here's this guy out there throwing his cane around. The last time I saw somebody with a cane was in the history books. No photograph of it, but this guy came out with a cane and beat an abolitionist on the floor of Congress with his cane. He was beaten with a cane by a Southern slaveholding, a Democrat. So last time I saw a Democrat on the congressional floor waving a cane, someone was being beaten, because stupid people like to beat other people up with their canes. But he luckily didn't hit anybody, and they escorted him out real quick. I'm telling you, stupid people are stupid, and they attract stupid people. And stupid doctrines. Nothing will shake them away from their resolve, no matter if they watch their entire city burn down. Man, here's this city in beautiful LA. A lot of it burns down, but that's for the greater good. We can build 15-minute cities now. It's a greater good, Lahaina. 15-minute paradise. Hey, we can. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're forgetting about those yahoos and stuff in this ravaged natural disaster area. They don't support us anyway. We'll give them $750, maybe $733 or $25, and then we'll have them pay taxes on that. We're not going to help them recover. We're not going to let them recover, because you got to submit to us, because we're the only right ones. Stupid people would have no problem using force. They crush you. Okay? Proverbs chapter 27, verse 22 says, though you grind the stupid in a mortar with a pestle, along with crushed grain, yet his stupidity will not depart from him. Unfortunately, that is true. The only one that can crack that type of nut is Jesus Christ, if the Lord can get through to him. Bonhoeffer concluded that this is what makes stupidity more dangerous than evil itself, as evil can be countered. However, stupidity is impervious due to its nature of sincere ignorance and conscientiousness to whatever cause they are, group or cult they're sold out to. The stupid people are bound together with each other in united collectivist groupthink. They entertain. And the more entertainment they say, look what I did to these conservatives. Look what I did to this pro-life person. Look what I did. There were a bunch of Christians praying, and so the Satanist walks in there with the Satan sign and a red robe prancing around, and they're yelling and they're throwing things at Christians who are trying to pray in the street. This happens, folks. And we're going to get you. Boy, you're stupid. You're stupid. You claim that Christians are forcing their values down your throat, but it looks like you are. But I know I can't reason with you because you're stupid. Only one that can reason with you is the Lord God Almighty, and I pray that He will slap you upside the head however He can and wake you up out of your stupidity before it's too late. Yeah, they perform for each other, folks, and thus they earn kudos from like-minded souls like at Davos, and reinforce in their cause to destroy the real world and build back a better one based on lies. That is Marxist, communist, fascist, devout socialists make the best stupid people in the world. They do. As the old saying goes, communists and fascists and socialists, progressives never sleep. Proverbs 26:11 says, as a dog returns to its own vomit, so does a stupid person repeat his folly. Mark Twain said, and I'm I don't have the exact quote, but I'm doing it from what I remember here. It says, he said something, you never argue with stupid people because they will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience of being stupid, something like that. We see that. You know what they do is they throw arguments at you. Well, I see you like real lemons. You're oppressing all those people who can't buy lemons. I mean, look at, you are an oppressor, and you have money to buy it, and this other person doesn't. So you need to purchase synthetic lemons, fake lemons, this hard lemons, and let other people have the real lemons. You're still getting a lemon, and they're getting a lemon. More ways than one. I mean, they use critical theory. We always call it critical um, systems theory would be another one. Is it critical race theory, whatever, critical gender theory, whatever, and they'll beat you with their experience and throwing critical arguments at you, criticizing well, you make more money than they do. And when they say that, you say, I'm not going there. I'm not arguing with you, and because you can't. They're not going to listen. They're not. And you learn how to counter their arguments too by keeping the answers very simple, because stupid people only understand simple things. You can't get intellectual with them because they're not going to listen. They feed off that. They're looking for a thing they're looking for something you say they can pit against yourself. So that's what they do. So anything you say or anything you say, you look at capitalism, helps people, free market capitalism with some controls. That's a free market capitalism, not laissez-faire capitalism, where we have, helps, raises people out of poverty. And they will counter and say, no, it doesn't. You're taking from those that have, and you're exploiting it for your own selfish thing. And the only way we can make it better is if we take it from you and hand it back to them. They missed the whole point of what you're saying. I argued with a communist professor. He was a noted communist at CSU. And I got a really high score in his class because the only one that talked back against him and confronted him with his own arguments. He made that point. Okay. I said, well, I came out with his old theme. I said, I got to tell you something. I'd rather teach people how to fish so they can feed themselves. And they can make a little money in the process too. And how are you going to feed people, because nobody's going to be fishing in your economy? And then he come up with this mumbo jumbo about oppressors versus oppressed, and we got to make things right. And again, I ask him, I'd rather teach people how to fish so they can have their own food and make a little money. What's wrong with that? And he says, well, and the bottom line was, it came down, I said, what does your ideology, what does your ideology, communism, do? What do they feed people with? Oh, he spoke right up. Ideas. I turned right back before he got another word out of his mouth. I said, ideas can't feed you. Again, I'd rather teach people how to fish, make their own money, and make a little profit in the process than just feed them ideas and they starve to death. He did not answer me. He looked at me like he got hit by a train, and he saw the light. He saw stupidity. Got a great grade in that class. A little confrontational. What the heck? What can I say? But if you don't know what you're doing, they will beat you down, like Mark Twain said. He confronted this stuff back then. Well, stupidity ended up spreading into a society and culture like a plague. And it's used to infiltrate movements and organize systems. And totalitarians, again, seek to make stupid people and cause them to demand obedience of the masses. So they're like the frontline troops doing the will of the totalitarians. So mass stupidity causes a country. Let me say that. Mass stupidity causes a country to surrender their independence, their moral standards, their identity as a people, and intelligence and moral reasoning in exchange to belong to the collective of stupid people. so that normal people are afraid. They're docile. They remain hidden. They're afraid to speak or say what is on their mind. As object truth that can set people free is determined as misinformation and disinformation. So they got to have censorship, and they scare the bejeebies out of you. Stupidity in the hands of those who know how to use it, weaponize it, and act like a juggernaut. So stupid people act like a juggernaut, smashing all before it, because stupidity cannot question itself, nor can it feel shame. It cannot feel doubt about what they're doing or the suffering they cause because of what they're saying. They're just blind to it. They have no empathy whatsoever. That's why we saw a bunch of them, in the Democrats, sitting down during a great speech trying to get America back. They don't want America back. They want America destroyed and rebuilt in this collective hive image. How are you going to get electricity? Because you outlawed plastics, because that comes from oil, and clothes, polyester, things that are made from oil, and the wires need insulation, and you need metals and stuff to make windmills, but you can't make anything because it pollutes the air. And how are you going to get food to the table once you outlaw everything and you can't have electricity? You can't put a windmill on the back of a car. Stupid people think of stupid things that are impractical and not working. And so what will happen to a society like that? It'll crash and burn. And Proverbs 7:12 describes that in a symbolic way. Let a man meet a bear robbed of her cubs. Hear that? Let you or me meet a bear robbed of her cubs rather than a stupid person in his stupidity. Why would Solomon say that? Well, he was wise. I'd rather meet a bear that's robbed of her cubs than a stupid person in his stupidity. I'm paraphrasing, translating the word fool for stupid because that's another meaning of it. And folly is the word for stupidity as well. So let us meet a bear robbed of her cubs rather than a stupid person in his stupidity. They will give you a beat down. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who died in a Nazi concentration camp just before the war ended, witnessed this in real time. He wrote a letter about it. I'll show you on screen in just a second. We also have seen it during the past 4 years in the good old USA. Thankfully, we have a little bit of breathing time. What stupid people do is to turn civilized societies into nations of cowards and turned over to the criminal elements by those who know how to weaponize stupidity in the minds of their minions. And that is exactly what Dietrich Bonhoeffer saw. He wrote about it. He tried so hard to help people see that. Bonhoeffer pointed out that such stupidity is not an intellectual defect of some kind, but rather a moral one. This is done exchanging decent morality for their pseudo-simulacrum of a brave new trans anything goes, no walls, no borders, all collectivists now, just burn down your village and all will be well in this brave new world of freedom and liberation. Yes, just burn it to the ground. No borders, no borders. But we got to defend the borders of Ukraine. Makes no sense. Don't ask stupid people to make sense. They cannot see any logic of their or anything you say. So let's look at these last few bit of proverbs here. Why is there in the hand of a stupid person the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it? Otherwise, what that means, they give a simulacrum, a fake lemon, depending that's their wisdom. It's nothing. They don't know real wisdom or not. That's what it means. Why is there in the hand of a stupid person the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it? He's not willing to hear rebuke or reproof. Proverbs 24:7. Wisdom is too lofty for the stupid. It is. Proverbs 17:7. Excellent speech is not becoming to the stupid, much less lying lips to a prince. That's a good one. Excellent speech is not becoming to the stupid. He doesn't want to hear it. He wants to be stupid. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer spoke about it. So I'm going to try to go over here. Let me bring this up. And let's see, I want to make myself a little bigger down here and size. Okay, there we go. All right. So here's this thing I was kind of quoting from and reading from. It's the North State Journal, and I'm going to try my best to get that link to put in description. And it says Bonhoeffer on stupidity. Okay, and I scroll up to it. That's why Bonhoeffer said stupidity is more dangerous enemy of good than malice. One may protest against evil. It can be exposed and, if need be, prevented by use of force. Evil always carries within itself the germ of its own subversion, and that it leaves behind the human beings at least a sense of unease. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protest nor the use of force accomplishes anything here. Reason falls on deaf ears. Facts contradicts one's prejudgment, simply need not be believed. In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical, and when the facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential, as incidental. In all this, the stupid person, in contrast to the malicious ones, is utterly self-satisfied and easily irritated. It becomes dangerous. You hear that? Becomes dangerous by going on the attack. What did I say, folks? What did I say here? What did I say about Elon Musk? They become dangerous. Disagree with the stupid people? What happens? What happens, folks? Mention Trump's name, that you're Republican and conservative, right to life, they go on the attack, don't they? For that reason, caution is called for with a malicious one. Never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reasons, for it is senseless and dangerous. If we want to know how to get the better of stupidity, we must seek to understand its nature. This much is certain. That is the essence, not an intellectual defect, but a human one. There are human beings who are remarkably agile, yet intellect yet stupid. Others who are intellectually quite dull, yet anything but stupid. We discover this to our surprise in a particular situations. The impression one gains is not so much that stupidity is a congenial defect, but that under certain circumstances people are made stupid, or that they allow this to happen to them. We note further that people who have isolated themselves from others, or who live in solitude, manifest this defect less frequently than individuals or groups of people inclined or condemned to sociability. And so it would seem that stupidity is perhaps less psychological than a sociological problem. You know, that is a very good point. That's a very good point. Hope you can read that and see I can't really make that any bigger, just quoting it there. Yeah, it's a socially brought about. That's what he was saying. That's what he noticed in Nazi Germany, in Stalinist Russia, and the totalitarians used stupid people, and so it became a social phenomena. You go to Davos, they're just about patting themselves on the back. It's all about them, you know, and how and all the good they do, but they could care less about the damage they do. You'll own nothing and be happy. You'll live in a brave new world where you're just happy. We'll give you a soma, a brain chip, whatever, and you'll just be happy. And we'll breed people to be servants in different classes. We have a brave new world, like Aldous Huxley wrote about. We need stupid people for the Great Reset. Yawo. Yeah. We want to make you hackable animals so we can control your thoughts and your brain for your betterment. We know how to make a perfect collectivist world because we are stupid intellectual snobs. We are the elite, the creme of la creme of society. You want to be like us, smell like us, dress like us? You can't have a private jet like us, but we'll turn you into a social, stupid person. And you'll do our bidding and fighting for us. For, to save the polar bears, save the sea slug, tear down the city, burn it down. For 15-minute cities, we're doing this for your good, Yavo. Stupid people. Okay. It would even seem that this is virtually a psychological, physiological law. The power of the one needs the stupidity of the other. The process at work here is not that particular human capacities, for instance, the intellect suddenly atrophies or fails. Instead, it seems that under overwhelming impact of a rising power, humans are deprived of their interdependence and more or less consciously give up establishing an autonomous position toward emerging circumstances. That's very important. The fact that stupid person is often stubborn must not bind us to the fact that he is not independent. In conversation with him, one virtually feels one is dealing with not at all with a person, but slogans, catchwords, and like they have taken possession of him. Wow, wow. You know, think of AOC. They're all slogans. Think of all the Democrats holding up those little paddle boards. Just slogans, just words, just words. Just a bunch of hollow, empty shell of a people who are pontificating with each other for each other's approval on a sociological, psychological level. The totalitarian feed off them to make them stupid, other people stupid by intimidation, so you'll give in to their stupidity and not fight. That's what happened to a lot of good people. They got brainwashed by stupidity, by a very evil elite. Adolf Hitler and his bunch. Stalin, his bunch. Pol Pot, his bunch. Mao, Chairman Mao, his bunch. Che Guevara, his bunch. Brainwashed by Fidel Castro, whose illegitimate son just resigned from prime minister in Canada. And you got another whopper in his place. Starmer, who's of the UK prime minister, is a Fabian socialist. You want evidence of a stupid person? Highly intelligent, stupid people, just look at him. Who would want to destroy their national heritage, who they are as a people, and demoralize them so bad that an enemy power can come in and take over your country? The only way you can do that is you're diabolically evil, like Bonhoeffer pointed out, and using these stupid people to climb the power for another power to take you over because you're all part of the club. So let me go over here and finish reading this. Yet at this very point, it becomes quite clear that only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. Here, we must come to terms with the fact that in most cases, a genuine internal liberation becomes possible only when external liberation has preceded it. Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person. This state of affairs explains why such circumstances are attempts to know what the people really think are in vain and why, under these circumstances, this question is so irrelevant for the person who is thinking and acting responsibility. The word from the Bible that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom declares that the internal liberation of human beings to live responsible life before God is the only genuine way to overcome stupidity. He is absolutely correct. But these thoughts about stupidity also offer consolation in that they utterly forbid us to consider the majority of people to be stupid in every circumstance. It really will depend on whether those in power expect more from people's stupidity than from their own inner independence and wisdom. This is Dietrich Bonhoeffer from after 10 years in the letters and papers from prison. Bonhoeffer was a leader of the Confessional Church in Germany and was hanged to death April 9, 1945 by Hitler's Nazis just days before the Buchenwald concentration camp was liberated. Wow, did you know that? He's read something written from a concentration camp that got out. He had visitors, he was allowed some visitors, and they got it smuggled out. So comes the question now arise, like Bonhoeffer said. How do we defeat stupidity and stupid people? And like he said, the Bible is a good place to start, as it encourages how to exercise reason. Let's just see through the eyes of grace and mercy and get past stupidity. You got to know the truth, and the truth will set you free of Christ. and you don't buy into the BS, the Babylonian stuff that these people are throwing out at you about gender and everything else, and the need for open borders. Just recall that Jesus himself stood before stupid people who mocked him, who beat him, betrayed him, told lies about him, spat on him, whipped him with a cat o' nine tails, put him on show trial, and crucified, all by the stupidest of people. Maybe that might be the only way for the wayward souls not to fall into stupidity when they realize that Jesus came and died for their sins, rose from the dead to free them from their stupidity. And Bonhoeffer is very correct. The only way at the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. They need to get back and fear that there is a God. They have to show some respect. The word fear means a respect. They need to have a strong respect for God and start to listen to people. Only one that can get to these people and get through to them is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I was a very stupid person, given into stupidity when I was younger, believing totalitarian, not totalitarian, but a form of a blend of kinder, gentle, I don't know, what do you call it, socialism, progressivism. And if we just do this, but I found out that was a lie. In 1976, I think it was a Democratic National Convention, we had the opportunity to go to the city where it was held. And I'm trying to remember if it was Virginia Beach or not. I just can't remember the city. We were there, and we thought of going, but I decided not to. Good thing I didn't. And at first when Jimmy Carter was elected, like, oh, wow, that's all nice. And then I had my eyes opened of the destruction he caused. And then I had my after-death experience, which really got me going, knocked the stupidity out of me. It was awesome, developing an awesome respect for the Lord and who he is. He's right. Is the beginning of wisdom. And that's what happened to me. So when I became born again and I got saved after I got back from my after-death encounter, I never want to go back to being stupid again. But anyway, what else can I say? Trust God, obey God, and leave the consequences to him. If you believe in your heart that Jesus died and rose on the third day, you'll be saved. You have to believe in all your heart. You have to believe in God's faithfulness that he rose from the dead on our behalf. You have to trust his faithfulness that he did this for an ungrateful lot of very dumb, stupid people. That by the crucifixion and what he went through will wake us up to our stupidity, how our stupidity mocks, beats, lies about, betrays people, spit on people. And if you had your chance, you'd whip up on them, beat them to death if you had a chance. You'll put them on show trial to try to just get things from them, whatever. And all you want to do is crucify another person. You are in the crux of stupidity. And the Lord said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You do now. You need to return to Christ. And I just feel the impression upon me that people need to really make that thing. I really trust that you came. I believe you're faithful. I don't understand why all the bad things happen and all that stuff. I'm going to throw that argument out. I'm just going to trust you that you did this for me and ask you to come into my life and make me born again. Make me a new person. I need it. I'm tired of my stupidity. This ain't working. There's a young gal that was online, and she had purple hair and bones through her nose and all kinds of things. I might be exaggerating, the bones through the nose, and dressed real provocative. She was a hearty, ho-ho, very Marxist, very stupid. She found the Lord, so she's now making TikTok videos, and she says, about 8 months ago, I was an idiot. Well, here's a picture of me, I'm going to vote for Trump now. Now I voted for Trump. All my friends hate me and threaten to kill me. But you know what? Trump has great ideas. Oh, yeah, free market's really wonderful. Yeah, it's best to train people how to fish so they can catch their own, make their own food, or at least sell the excess and start a business. And by that, they can help other people and raise other people out of poverty than trying to destroy everything and hopefully somebody who likes to fish will fish all the time to feed everybody. They just lounge around and do nothing. It's just not going to cut it. Oh, yeah. You got to get a chip in your brain so you can be made a good worker. Oh, I got it. A worker's paradise. But, she saw through all that minutia. So there's hope. A lot of Generation Z and whatever they have programmed. Do you know that Generation Z, X, and also all that I found in CSU library in the basement? And there was a massive flood. I can't remember the years, in the early 90s, that flooded the entire basement. I don't know if that book still exists, but it was written, I think it was in the 50s, talking about each successive generation, my generation, so forth, whatever. And it talks so much about Generation X being the one that'll be mark the shift over to a progressive socialist, Marxist, new Marxist, spiritual communistic, fascist communist blend, spiritualized, mixed for utopia. And by Generation Z, and this is before even Generation Z was even known, and I wish I would have made photocopies of that book. It was small. That was an amazing read. Yeah, I read things like that back then. Teaching on it for years, trying to warn people what's coming down the pike.
You live here?
Yes.
Well, maybe you know what a zombie is.
When a person dies and is buried, it seems there's certain voodoo priests who have the power to bring him back to life.
How horrible.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring.
You mean like Democrats?
With that, if you like what I do here, my website, email, PayPal information, if you'd like to support what I do, I have 2 books, Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion, and Heaven Beckons. If you like those, help support me, please do. I just put it on your heart. I will never contact you by phone or send you an email, nor will I knock on your door begging for money or your address or your phone number. So don't do that. I leave it up between you and the Lord to offer, to do of your goodness of your heart, to supply. If you want to, you can. If not, that is fine with me.